back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. So good to share some energy with you today. I wanted to bring you some clarity on this. And for those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath. And that means before I was professional, I was just an empath. And what that means even more so is that I've been dealing with things all my life that I didn't understand. I even have some videos up here where I read a letter from someone who was dealing with their own issues of autoimmunity and not understanding, and they had dealt with a lot of narcissistic people in their life and a lot of narcissistic abuse, and it caused them to be dysregulated in their system. When you're dealing in a narcissistic abuse relationship or any abusive, continual abusive relationship, you'll be having higher levels of cortisol. Your cortisol raises. That's a fight or flight kind of energy. And what it does is it causes you to become an enemy of your own body. So that's why a lot of empaths have mystery or phantom illnesses like fibromyalgia or lupus or issues with their stomach. And no doctor can really pinpoint what it is. Maybe you might get a diagnosis. Are you celiac? Do you have celiac disease? And that's a real thing. But is it Crohn's? Is it something else? Do you have flare-ups, diverticulitis, whatever the case may be? A lot of that's caused from being around people where you're transmuting their energy. You're actually cleaning people's energy through your energy, empath. We are sponges and filters that way. And a lot of us think that we're crazy because when we go to the doctors, they're like, we don't really know what caused this or how this happened. Well, I will unequivocally tell you, I know exactly how I got as sick as I did. And it was because I was transmuting really toxic, lower vibrational energy that was purposely trying to be toxic to me. And for much of my life, it's not just recently. So I had dealt with that. And as I got away from that person, especially the most toxic one I ever dealt with in my life, I not only lost weight without a lot of effort, which is crazy because that has been the struggle of my life, my whole life. And isn't it interesting because I always kept toxic, narcissistic people around me, not realizing that I had to let them go and say goodbye. And when I started to unrepentantly cut people out, if you could not hold yourself accountable and make a real apology or talk something out with me, then fuck you. And I mean that, empath. You got to be that serious about it. There are no second chances because your second chance is your life. And so it's something I want you to get right. And it's something I want you to not second guess. That's why I'm getting right to the point and I'm going to keep it short. Yes, your stress level being consistently raised like you're running from a dinosaur back in the day is not how we were designed to be. Fight or flight comes in small bursts of energy. When you're dealing with a narcissist that's gaslighting you, whether it's covertly or overtly, you are not designed to be always in that mental labyrinth trying to figure out their BS and shenanigans. When you are with someone who is physically abusive to you, your body is not designed to be withholding blows. A fight happens and it could be quick, but it's not supposed to be the way that you go from day to day. And if you're living in that way, your body will start to hold you accountable since you're not holding them accountable. Someone's going to pay. And more often than not, empath, it's us that has to pay energetically. And that's why I say, do not fool yourself. If you're around narcissists in your workplace, if they're in your family, fuck them, cut them out. Because it's not worth not only your sanity, but your actual health, life and death. If you have some lower vibrational energy people that will wish death upon you, it doesn't mean that they have any power to do that. God is the arbitrator of that, right? Our dying day is decided, and it's nothing we are privy to and get to know. Even as a practitioner and a psychic, and sometimes someone who channels people's crossed over loved ones, I don't know anything. I only know what they allow me to know, and I am only a conduit. But what I do know is that people are nasty. I learned that the hard way, up close and personal. People are wicked. And the Bible even says it. Man's heart is evil. You may have someone smiling right in your face and hoping that you die, hoping that you get into a car crash. And I'm sorry if I have to get so vitriolic here with you. I need you to get this point through because a lot of us give people passes because it's nothing we would ever do. If you're on this channel, you're an empath and you're an angel, period. Or you're a cross-watching hater, that's possible too. But here's a lesson here for you. You can't kill people by your energy. They can wish ill upon you. And if you start to take on the thought forms, it can definitely affect you. But beyond being affected by other people's energy, we stress ourselves out trying to be in perfection regarding our relationships, which is nothing that we were designed to be. You're allowed to walk away from someone. You're allowed to be like, oh, this person's crazy and they're draining my energy. They're fragmented and it's causing me mental instability. And now it's causing me autoimmune disorders. That blanket, that umbrella of autoimmune disorders is something that was created because the doctors didn't understand what are all these weird things that are happening. Fibromyalgia makes people extremely tired, lethargic, not able to do their basic day to day. And it's not anything that they can specifically say, so they had to put a word onto it, but it is caused by unhealthy, toxic relationships. Won't they do it? Every single time they will deplete you. So be very clear. If you are unsure and you're like, I don't understand why I'm getting sick this way or why I'm having a specific amount of weight gain, I will not blame my weight gain in the last few years. Well, that's not true, y'all. I can't blame it on them. I have my own issues with fat and food and self-soothing and my own eating disorder. So y'all, I'm transparent AF here. I don't lie to you about anything. However, my first narcissistic injury was my father. Very confusing messages where he would overfeed me to bond with me, to ingratiate me and to groom me in his own way, and then hold me accountable for the overfeeding that he did do with horrible words and things that he did say. But that was his way of soothing me after he had beat, punished, and abused me. Go down to the deep freeze and get out some Klondikes and get out a steak. I remember once, guys, and this is what I want you to know about the crazy making that happens with abusive relationships, that I was aware of myself getting fat as a younger child, and my stepmother always loved to fry chicken. And I remember saying to her, can I please have boiled chicken instead? Because that was back in the 80s, 90s when Weight Watchers was all the rage and all that stuff. And I knew in my head, I got to get my weight under control because it was starting to affect me and kids were mean. And my father was mean to me, narcissistic injuries for sure. And I got the worst beating of my life. A pile on the floor trying to catch my breath because my father thought, how dare I have the audacity to request better health? Make the connection, guys. So he was overfeeding and using it as a tool for grooming and for pacifying. But also, when I decided to take my power back message and say, I think I'd like to have boiled chicken or baked chicken instead, it was an insult. And he almost left me for dead. That is the crazy making of narcissistic abuse. When I whimpered back and started to come back to life within the next day or so after that beating happened, I was met with ice cream and that fried chicken. And he said, you better fucking eat it. You get it? A lot of mind effery happens in your abusive situations, and you're left processing that. And that causes high cortisol and stress levels to make you insane. And then you start to take it out on your body. Your body starts to transmute that pain. And now you have all kinds of weird illnesses that you can't explain, and the doctors can't either. I promise you, the best way to heal and the fastest way to healing is to walk away from the narcissist that is your soul bleeding, or walk away from the abusive relationship that is actually draining energy out of you, because you can't heal yourself when you're doing for everybody else around you. What do they say on the plane? Put the mask on yourself first and then save anybody next to you. You can't help anybody if you can't breathe, and if you can't think, and if you can't heal. You are of service to no one. And that will affect everything, including the way you feel. The second you cut off a narcissist or an abusive, toxic relationship, you will notice that there will be a buoyancy in your energy, maybe even in your money, your finances, maybe in your other relationships. There will be room for growth because you cut something off that was toxic and corroded and that wanted to keep you low, but it will affect you. Your narcissist might look radiant because they siphon energy from you. I essentially, in the last couple of years of cutting off a narcissist, have lost, well, y'all, I've almost lost about what she weighed. I got about another 50 pounds to go to be about where she was at. And I have lost the weight of a narcissist. And I couldn't have never, I tried my hardest. I was doing all levels of keto and low carb, couldn't do it. But the second I cut off someone who was covertly abusive, boom, the universe said, well, that was that. You have literally dropped the weight. It was the craziest thing. If it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't have it to say, and I wouldn't have believed it. I felt better. I looked better. I was better, even though I've been dealing with sickness in other ways. But I will tell you what that is the lingering transmutation of that toxic energy that I dealt with for years. Once this is over, it will be over. But that's the thing, guys. There was a price to pay. That narcissist wasn't with me at the hospital. She wasn't sending little flowers and cards my way. God bless it. I had lovely people, other people that were actually genuine that did that. I wouldn't want shit from her. But what I will tell you is this, and it doesn't mean I haven't worked on forgiving her, guys. There's a video here about my near death experience where I talk about how I really realize that they're humans too. But that doesn't mean in this life that we're going to be besties and booze. Keep them far away. Get thee behind me, Satan. And that's how you need to think of those narcissists in your life. Take your cape off, my loves. Take your cape off, empaths and earth angels. Stop trying to save them because they're trying to kill you. Literally, actually trying to kill you. It's no joke. Well, if I can scream this from the mountaintop one day, you will know. If I can do a TED talk about it, I'm going to be there. South by Southwest, anywhere. I will say this to the world because it's something that should be heard. So many of us are sweet empaths. And it doesn't mean that we're perfect and infallible. It means that we come with genuine intentions and we would never be detrimentally abusive or corrosive to somebody else. But other people would be to us, looking right in our eyes with jealousy and malice. And we feel that. Even if they don't say it, we know it and intuit it because we're highly psychic. And then our body says, I am seeing this rejection too. And I'm sharing all of this candidly with you, as I am always called to do, because someone needs to hear it. You're not crazy. Whatever's going on in your body is a direct correlation to the naysayers around you, to the haters around you, and to the people that don't wish the best for you. Even if they never said it and they smile in your face, your body knows the truth. Your body always knows the truth. Cut them out of your life and regain your youth. It's amazing. It reminds me of a Bible verse up here. God will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. I have a video where I talk about that regarding relationships, that I didn't get the relationship. I was malnourished. That's another thing. I was malnourished in my relationship dynamic with that person because they were withholding, as all narcissists are, in order to be controlling and in order to yield an outcome. And as soon as I got out of that relationship, I was nourished with real love, but it's because I had to choose myself. No one could give it to me. I made a video here recently called Casper and Cheyenne. The Cheyenne that came into my life was very nourishing for me, and other friends were very nourishing to me, and my parents and all that stuff. My mother, who was still alive, was very nourishing to me. Even my father, who crossed over, that was that narcissist with the fried chicken and that drama, has come over to be nourishing as he has done his own evolving. Believe it or not, God is so good. But what I will tell you is I was malnourished in a situation. Many of you guys are in marriages, connections, friendships where you are malnourished and you are overfeeding other people, and it is causing you great detrimental energy. I was out of balance. I was overgiving. I was thriving. Well, I thought I was thriving, but I was existing barely in codependency. Now, when you cut off that person in your life, you give all of that back to them, and they get to figure out what life is for them. And I could care less, y'all. When I say I could care less, y'all, because I realized how much it cost me to uplift someone that was committed to being depressed and committed to being atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. It cost my body something. And that was from many narcissistic relationships. It wasn't just that one, but this last one was so clear. My angels made the lessons very, very clear to me. And they were like, you need to understand that you only have one body and you cannot give all your energy to someone because you have not made the mind body connection, daughter. They said, you're a practitioner and you're teaching this, but did you understand the mind body soul connection? When you're giving all your energy or you're letting someone be abusive, once you get a heads up that they are no longer to be in your life and you continue it out of codependent addiction and trauma bonding, it's okay, y'all. We all go through it. I'm not upset at all with you. But I don't want you to ever second guess that escaping is the thing to do. You will get your youth back, your elasticity back, your skin back. If it's weight loss you're after, you'll get that. If it's weight gain you're after, you'll get that. If you want gains in the gym, you'll get that. If you want financial gains, you'll get that. If you want a vacation, you'll get that. If you want a better car, you'll get that. If you want a new car, you'll get that. You want a house, you'll get that. You want a new bestie, you'll get that. You want a good husband, you'll get that. You want a good wife, you'll get that. If you want a good job, a career that has a beautiful trajectory, you'll get that. You want a better relationship with your kids, you'll get that. You name it. Beans, greens, tomatoes, potatoes, everything you want comes as soon as you cut them off. But if you want to restore your health, and it's not an option, we have one body, cut them off and you'll get that. I promise you, you're not crazy. I love you guys so much. Come back and join me next time. And we will continue to, evolve together. Let's see here. I can't see the name, but it says they are sharing. Let me see. Rabbit's Paw? I don't know. Thank you for sharing the love, knowledge, and being so vulnerable with us. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry that I butchered your name. I'm so sorry about that. I'm looking at it from a weird angle, but I appreciate you being here, and I have to be vulnerable with you guys because I am called to be. A lot of these stories have made people cringe that are friends of mine. They have been like, "Oh my God, how are you sharing all this stuff?" Because I am called to do it. Because someone needs to know when you're going through it that you're not alone, that there is a way to get back home, and home is to yourself, it's to your north node. Sometimes you have to come on here and cry, and sometimes, and everyone's not called to do it. There are lots of friends that wouldn't touch what I've done with a 10-foot pole, but I know that I was guided and called just to have this connection with you today, Mr. G or Mrs. G, whomever you are. I don't want to butcher the name again, or anybody else that hears this message. You're not crazy. It's okay to exist in your vulnerability. The narcissist and the abuser in your life hates you and is so jealous of your vulnerability. They say it's cringy and it makes them uncomfortable, but they could never, they could never. That is your authenticity. It is your power, empath, to be able to shed a tear, to be able to admit you're in fear, to be able to say this is spiritual warfare, to be able to say I'm sick today, to be able to say, will the pain ever go away? There is power in our vulnerability because we do get on to brighter days. I promise you that. I love you guys so much. Again, come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.